Hi-Fi Rush, the latest game from Xbox-owned studio Tango Gameworks, quite literally came out of nowhere a couple weeks ago and sent rhythmic waves throughout the industry. Announced and released in the same day, Hi-Fi Rush is a rhythm-based character action game that reminded me of the Dreamcast era with graphical nods to Jet Set Radio and Beautiful Joe. The game has received widespread fan and critical acclaim so far, leaving many shocked with just how good of a game this shadow drop ended up being. But outside of the praise and adulation for this game's existence and overall quality, many were quick to point out how Hi-Fi Rush isn't a title you'd typically expect from Xbox's internal studios. And while this game may have come as a surprise to some, it's really not a big shock to those who've been following Xbox's moves over the last few years. Why? Well, keep watching to find out. Xbox has spent the last 4 years expanding their roster, quickly growing to 23 studios by acquiring talented teams from all over the globe. In doing so, they've made it clear that they are looking to be an organization with expertise in a vast array of genres. Each studio Xbox has acquired or grown has its unique calling card, from the racing genre, to shooters, to RPGs, to real-time strategy, to deeply cinematic games, and more. Even though many of the big hitters have yet to release, we've already seen this diversity start to play out. From Microsoft Flight Sim, to Wasteland 3, to As Dusk Falls, to Gears Tactics, and so many more, it's clear to anyone paying attention that there's a ton of game diversity within Xbox. These first-party games rarely share similar DNA or abide by the same formulaic templates, and that just adds to the unique feel you get with each new release. The most recent example, of course, being Tango Gameworks, which saw one of its lead directors, John Johannes, go from leading development on The Evil Within 2 to creating his dream project in Hi-Fi Rush. Last year's surprise critical hit, Pentiment, from Obsidian's Josh Sawyer, saw the respected industry veteran lead a Night in the Woods inspired adventure game set in 16th century Bavaria after he spent most of his career creating great West End role-playing games. These are just a few examples of creatives within Xbox taking risks and moving out of their comfort zones to create passion projects. This willingness to break molds and provide a variety of experiences isn't just found at the creative level. It's a key part of Xbox's plan to provide a wide array of experiences. Xbox head, Phil Spencer, recently commented on games like Hi-Fi Rush and Pentiment, and where they fit within the overall Xbox first-party portfolio. He said the following.
I think about our teams and our creators and giving them a creative outlet to go do some things that maybe if they were just on their own and retail was the only way, kind of sales of the game itself was the only way of gauging success, they might not get to go do those games. So I like when we can create opportunity for teams to do some unique things that are maybe outside of what they've normally done, and then really, find either new customers for the studios or find just people that really enjoy the work that they're doing.
Now, a major contributor to all of this is Game Pass. As Spencer suggests, sales aren't the only metric of justifying a game's existence. Not anymore anyways. We don't know how successful games like Pentiment or Hi-Fi Rush would be without something like the subscription, but I feel safe to say that launching within the service gives these games a real chance to reach larger audiences, especially when someone doesn't need to exchange their hard-earned money to try a game that's likely different from anything they previously played. And it's not just in their first party that their commitment to game diversity is shown. The indie games Xbox has chosen to highlight in the last half a decade have varied immensely in genre, style, and production quality. We've had titles with breathtaking visuals like Cuphead, to a game that wouldn't have looked out of place in a console 2 decades ago with Vampire Survivor. There's no singular type of indie game that Xbox associates itself with, and this diversity helps Xbox players and Game Pass subscribers have a wide breadth of quality games to choose from. This mix of innate want for game diversity, from the unique and talented studios, to Microsoft's need to have a variety of titles in the service, should lead to the platform creating many more games that don't feel like they came from Xbox. We expect this notion, this doesn't feel like an Xbox game, will last until a tipping point is reached, where the lack of familiarity, template, and definition becomes the point rather than a statement of surprise. It'll take time, a steadier cadence of releases, and a larger portfolio of quality games, but we expect diversity and awe to be the rule, not the exception, going forward. Xbox doesn't have a formula, and that's a good thing.